it's the dumbest bill in America. And it is, of course, from Nancy Pelosi wanting to mandate more free money. Of course, the podcast is about mandating. So we're going to just call this mandating free money because Nancy wants a big fat stimulus bill passed.
Yes.
And that's the big issue in Congress right now. Nancy and all of her Democrat colleagues want a nice big Christmas tree where everybody gets to pick something off of it, most of which is completely unrelated to COVID and completely related to most things that affect you in your everyday life because they are trying to push us, Nancy and her caucus, are trying to push the United States to a socialist country because that's what mandating Democrats like to do.
Yeah, and push us further off a fiscal cliff.
Absolutely.
Jesus,
yes.
Yeah.
Explain that.
So currently, the United States is $24 trillion in debt.
And guess who's going to be paying for that?
My generation.
Millennials.
Millennials. That's one of my probably current chagrins with the administration is we haven't done anything to address the debt. But, that's a story for another time.
Fair enough.
But, we already spent $4 trillion on the first round of stimulus and then another $1 trillion to supplement that. Plus, you combine that with the Fed's blowout of spending, where they are spent somewhere close to $6 trillion in Fed loans. We're talking about $10 trillion in stimulus spendings ever since the pandemic happened.
Not sustainable.
Which is, first of all, it's half the value of our national debt right
and
there.
much of the money, actually most of the money hasn't even made its way into the economy.
No.
And that's what's so fascinating, that there's so much in a hurry to spend so much more because this is an opportunity. When you're a mandator and you're a big spender, it's an opportunity for you during a crisis like COVID to be able to get all the things you always wanted. And here's Nancy Pelosi. We have a clip of her. She's talking about the impasse on the stimulus bill and also how, the president owns COVID, like he created COVID. And also she uses at the end, you got to listen to this podcast, listeners, multiple metaphors, which make no sense. We're going to talk about that. Here's Nancy. Here's the clip.
And even until now, they have ignored the science. They called it a hoax. By miracle, it would go away. I'm a deeply religious person. I believe in miracles, and I believe the miracle of science will help us.
The miracle of science.
Magically, it would go away. It was a hoax. No, they are the hoax. And so the virus has picked up steam. And like a freight train, is coming down the tracks.
Listen to the metaphors.
Like a convoy, going as slow as the slowest ship.
The ships. Oh, boy.
Are going so slowly that
she paused? Couldn't figure out what she was trying to say?
At that rate, they'll never overtake the virus. We cannot let that stand.
So she goes from train to truck convoy to what was the last one? Ships.
Ships.
She forgot her metaphor.
By land, by sea, and by air.
We will make this stimulus get passed.
Oh, my God.
That's good, man. That's really good.
Geez.
So that's good old Nancy Pelosi using multiple metaphors during her press conference about why she wants to mandate more free money. And we're not even going to go over the bill because it's such a Christmas tree, other than to say to you,
really, the one thing that you should know that's in there that's absurd is, really, they're just pushing for a big state bailout.
And explain what that means.
The money. So there's a bunch of states that prior to COVID were already in economic
and what
dire straits.
What color are those states?
They tend to be blue, Mark.
Blue
How'd
states.
You know?
So blue states were already in the red at the time. let's get back to that. There's another metaphor. Blue states were already almost bankrupt by the time that this started.
We're lucky we were in a good economy because there was not enough revenue to sustain their spending long term.
Yes.
And they won't get one, but they need a bailout because they won't cut spending or
so then COVID starts.
COVID starts.
Nancy has a stimulus.
Revenues fall off a cliff. We do the first round of stimulus, and they're still spending, but they're just like in absolute chaotic, they're going to have to slash public services. They're going to have to slash, state employees.
Yes.
They're going to have to contend with all of the issues that have put them in this bad situation. But Nancy doesn't want to have them, she wants to bail out these blue states, so there aren't no political consequences for the issues that have gone on within a lot of these states.
Well said. And that was probably one of the best metaphors I've ever heard used by Nancy Pelosi. Say it again. Would you say by
land, sea, or air?
really good. And that's it for Mark and the Millennials. Thank you for joining Mark and the Millennials. This is Mark Fisher. Thank you to Garrick Ross, our millennial, and of course our producer, Adam Couture, our assistant producer, Christopher Hopkins. Check us out on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and our website. See you next time.